Good day and welcome to NACTV's Coffee Chat. My name's Lyle Watson and we're very pleased to have as our guest today our recently elected new MLA for the constituency of Agassiz, Jodie Byram. Thank you for taking the time to join us, Jodie, and welcome to NACTV Coffee Chat.
Well, thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Well, we're pleased to have you today, and I'd also ask if you would take a moment and introduce to our viewers your assistant, please.
Absolutely. So I want to welcome Sherry Francis. She is my constituency assistant working in the office here in Neepawa. And some of you may recognize Sherry. She's been living in Neepawa 30 plus years, raising her family, and worked at the lawyer's offices in Neepawa. So many of you may recognize Sherry from that employment. So welcome. Thank you, Sherry. And I look forward to working with Sherry. She's got lots of wealth of experience to bring to the office. So thank you.
Thank you, Jodie.
Good. Thank you, Sherry. Good luck to you as an assistant on your being assistant. And back to our coffee chat, Jodie. It's been hasn't been long since election. The time went quickly, but you do have one session under your belt at this point in time. Before we go there, we talked about, you've introduced Sherry, your assistant. Where is your constituency office and how do they get in touch with you here in Neepawa?
So our constituency office is 361 Mountain Avenue. It's located right across from what's going to be the new pharmacy in Neepawa. And our email address, somebody feel free to stop in, but our email address is office, you know what, I'm going to have to check the email address.
Well, that's okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No.
But feel free to stop in if you're in Neepawa, and Sherry would be happy to help you and get the message to me.
Yeah, that's a good location. You're right on Mountain Avenue and right in downtown Neepawa.
Very good location. You can't miss it.
Good, good. Well, I'm just very interested in knowing how you feel of being elected the MLA in the constituency of Agassiz after having served as an assistant yourself for 9 years. What was that election day like and the victory for you as the MLA?
Election day was, it was an exciting day. We spent the day sort of preparing and what we hoped to be a celebration. Here in Agassiz, it was a victory for myself, but it was a bittersweet as the end result by the time election night was over was not a progressive conservative win. However, it was a win for me here in Agassiz, and you know, I would like to say thank you to all my supporters and those people that supported me in that campaign. And you know, we moved on from there, and we've got a new government in the province of Manitoba, and we're working forward in that.
Good. And have you had a chance, you've had one session in the House. Have you been able to measure the benefits of your being an assistant for 9 years? Has it been really beneficial to you as you went through that first session?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. That's a good question. So I'm just going to start off sort of how it benefited me. So once we were elected, we were asked to go to the legislature for what they called 4 days of MLA training. They called it MLA school. This is the first time the legislature has done something like that, where they brought in all the newly elected representatives and hosted for 4 days in the chamber. They had presenters from the legislature come in and explain policies, procedures, and a variety of things relative to the job of an MLA. And some of those presenters were those that look after the administration part, sort of the back end of things, which is what a constituency assistant would look after in most offices or some offices. So that for me is something, having that background information on the administrative side is beneficial. So I understood some of what those people were explaining. Having worked in the constituency office, there's been meetings or different things where I've had to attend the legislature. Yep. With Eileen Clark, who was obviously the MLA for Agassiz prior. So I was a little bit familiar with some of the settings, so to speak, at the legislature, as well as some of the procedures and just being familiar with the legislative building itself. Yep. So there was definitely some benefit to being in that office for 9 years prior, for sure.
So then you not only were you elected a new MLA, and you also got appointed to the shadow cabinet. That, I think, must carry a fairly heavy load of responsibilities to be part of the shadow cabinet.
Yeah, that is a new role, obviously, as well as being MLA. So it adds another layer to the responsibilities, where I'm going to be doing some of my own research and setting up meetings with some of the different representatives, maybe from an immigration side of things as well as the labor side of things, and hearing what the concerns are, or advocating for change, perhaps in some cases, in labor and immigration.
So labor and immigration is the departments that you are responsible for the opposition.
Correct.
To lead the opposition.
Holding them accountable to, yes,
yep.
some of what they've made for promises, and yes.
So do you have additional staff? And if you do, how many staff members, additional staff, would you have in order to serve in that position?
So as a PC caucus, our staff is fairly limited. So between all the MLAs for the PC party, or the caucus, our staff is a little limited. So we are assigned a staff, up to maybe 2 staff per MLA. So resources are a little bit limited than when you are in government, but we have a great team in there, and we all work well together, and can help each other out when we need to.
Oh, I see. So it is a team effort in opposition as well as individual effort too.
There is definitely a team effort, yes, yeah.
Well, and now that you're in opposition, like you say, it was kind of bittersweet, but I guess that's what you have to work with for the next, till the next election at least. And my question would be is how are you finding our new Premier Canoe to work with at this point in time, in the short period that you've had to work with them?
Right. Well, the new government, they're still in their honeymoon phase, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts. It's an exciting time for them, but it's also an exciting time for us too, because we get to, learn our roles and hold that government accountable to some of the promises that they made during their election campaign.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting time. And coming in as opposition, when I worked in the MLA office prior to, we were a government in power. So this takes on a different role, and it's another bit of a learning curve just to work in the opposition side of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does when you're in opposition like you are, and you have a post, 2 departments to look after, does the campaigning ever quit, or the conversation between the governing party and the opposition? Are you always in a campaign mode, and and using that type of language throughout the election year, or the time before an election?
That's interesting, because I do always feel like you're in a constant campaign mode. Does that ever change? I'm not sure. When you're in politics, you're always sort of doing that campaigning. What's interesting here, though, and you might not always see this when if you watch question period or not, but quite often after that we go and we shake hands with the opposition, and you know what, it's you have to see them as people too, and you know, we might not always share the same political beliefs, but we are there because we want to serve the people and have a better Manitoba. I think it's important to have good relationships, and build on those. And when you're opposition, you got to hold them accountable, just as they did with us when we were in power. So,
well, there's quite a few things in their campaign that will stand out as we go through the coming months, but one is reconciliation. Will you continue to work as hard as Eileen did and you worked before on reconciliation? Will you continue to work towards the progress of that?
I think that's another good question, and I think that goes back to relationships and keeping good relationships and fostering those that have been established and maintaining those. So absolutely, yes, I think reconciliation is an important way that we can move forward and recognize and work together.
Have you seen a good progress in reconciliation over the last 4 to 8 years that you were assistant? Has there been lots of changes?
I do believe that, yes, there has been, I think, strides ahead in reconciliation, sorry. So I do think that there is progress, and that's not something that's going to happen very quickly. I think, again, it goes back to relationships and build on those relationships and a level of trust. And I do believe that there has been positive change and growth in that, and I do believe that will continue.
Yep. Well, it would appear so at this point that the process of reconciliation has been well established, I feel, and it looks good, yeah. Well, one of the big topics in the Conservative Party, and I hear it across the constituency, is leadership and how long Sharon Stephenson will stay. I know she stayed on as interim leader. Do you have anything that you could share with us as to what stage the Progressive Conservative Party of Manitoba's leadership campaign is at, or what's happening, or where is it going?
For sure. What I can say is that they are doing, reviewing the policy and procedure for a leadership campaign moving forward. What is the timeline? That I'm not comfortable speaking to, just because I simply don't know what that timeline looks like. But I do know that there is the review for policy and procedure, happening. So, yeah.
So it would be probably sooner than later, do you think, or would she stay on until closer to the next election?
You know what? I'm not even sure if I wouldn't want to speak to her for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like. It might be better answered once this policy and procedure sort of has been identified and voted on, but until then, I wouldn't want to speak to that.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of things happening in the Neepawa area, as you know, and of course one of them is the new hospital. Have you had a chance to be out on the site, or you just drive past it? Have you had an experience being on the site, if at all?
I haven't been out on the site recently, but of course I drive by it on a very regular basis, and to see the progress of it is quite exciting. And to have seen that, like anybody in the community, just to see where it was something that the community had worked long and hard for a period of time, and to see it come to fruition is really exciting for the community. I believe it's on time for an opening of 2025. That's my understanding. So I think in terms of the timelines, it's on track to be open when they expected.
And there's no doubt we can see the fact that it's going to be a district hospital. It's developing already, as I'm told. The hospital currently in Nipawa is seeing up to 25 plus emergency cases per day. And when I inquired as to why that was the case, and of course the outlying, some of the outlying smaller centers have closed their emergency. So Nipawa is certainly going to be the center of the district for hospitalization and services here.
Yes, that's right. And I think we're looking for this new facility to be a hub, right, with 60 plus acute care beds and expanded diagnostic service. So it is going to be a hub in rural Manitoba and service many of the municipalities in the surrounding area as well as communities. Yes, for sure.
And do you think it's feasible to meet the need, the number of doctors that'll be needed to fulfill it, and to make it work as a district hub?
I think, with a new facility, it will have better technology, newer technology. I do believe that doctors want to work with newer technology, and that may draw some new professionals to rural Manitoba. I know that Nipawa here as well is offering the nursing program, and I believe that's starting in January here. And I feel that it will draw healthcare professionals to the area.
Yep. And it's going to draw a lot of other interesting things to the area, because the fact that the hospital and that is a district hub is centered here. I think it's going to help Nipawa grow quite a bit, I think. Yeah.
I think Nipawa is expanding and growing at an incredible rate. And having a new healthcare facility, there's all the support workers aside from the healthcare professionals. You've got healthcare aides, you've got kitchen staff, you've got support workers on many other levels as well. So that will draw other people to the community for sure in terms of employment for sure.
Yeah. And when we take a look at the construction, the housing construction, the apartments, the new hotel that's going, it's all going to add to the services provided by this community.
Absolutely. Lots of potential and growth that's coming from all the new builds and businesses.
Well, you were born and raised in Nipawa, or close to it, I guess, right?
That's right.
And but Agassiz is a pretty big constituency. Could you just give our viewers an idea, for the ones that may be not familiar with the area that you cover as an MLA?
So we obviously we take in Nipawa, we go as far north as Kelwood, so that's right along number 5 highway.
So Kelwood, the village of Kelwood's included in Agassiz?
The village of Kelwood is included in Agassiz.
Yep.
We take in the little village of Polonia. We go as far west as the community of Franklin.
Yep.
We take in Brookdale.
Yep.
We take in a portion of Shiloh. And then we have Carberry, which is south of number 1 highway. We take in Austin and McGregor. We take in the community of Treeherne.
Yep.
And we come up, we have Rosendale, Lavenham, Westburn, Gladstone, and we go up on that eastern side, we have Langruth, Sandy Bay First Nation, and Glenella, Plumas. That gives you a bit of the northern portion of it, and there's about 9 municipalities within Agassiz constituency.
9 municipalities.
9 municipalities. We take in 4 school divisions and 2 health regions, and 20 plus Hutterite colonies.
I was just kind of thinking it's quite a diverse constituency in terms of people. and Nipawa, of course, we have a large Filipino population. You mentioned Hutterite colonies. How many Hutterite colonies would be in Agassiz?
I want to say about 23,
Yeah.
just over 20 Hutterite colonies.
And you
Yeah.
said Sandy Bay was included in?
Sandy Bay First Nation.
Is that
yes.
that's the only First Nation?
That is our the only First Nation in Agassiz constituency.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's exciting about Agassiz, is the diversity that that the space takes in. It's you've got lots of different cultures, and it's great to embrace each one of them, and they all have different celebrations, different times of years, or different times of the year, and that's what makes it such a unique place and such a diverse place. And
So you have to be aware of inclusive-ness
absolutely,
to include everybody.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a great place! It's a hub for lots of activities, lots of celebrations, parades. The summer, campaigning was fantastic because there were so many parades and festivals going on in all the communities. Each one's got a little bit of their own little
Yep.
niche or celebration that they take part in, and it was great to experience all of that. Yeah, and even this Christmas, there's lots of Christmas parades, which a lot of my colleagues aren't necessarily familiar with in terms of a Christmas parade, but they do different things in different communities. But that's what we do in Agassiz, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have had an exciting summer campaigning across the diverse constituency of Agassiz and meeting all these new people, a lot of new people, and a lot of residents that have been here for generations.
It was a great campaigning. There was, and I did this for a number of years with Eileen as well. But going out and doing my own campaigning and attending the parades, it was fantastic. It was fantastic, and the energy is great in every community. When you see so many people come together for just to have fun, have a good time, and celebrate.
Yep.
It was really good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And at the start of our conversation today, our coffee chat, you mentioned One Manitoba. And if all these different diverse populations and cultures, if we can work together and come together, we could have a One Manitoba.
And I think that's what's unique. We can each embrace and celebrate everybody's cultural celebrations, I guess, and learn from each other. We all bring something different, and I think there's so much to learn by bringing what these cultures together. I think we can all learn from that.
Yeah. I think that's well said, Jodie. I think it's important that we all learn from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of the constituency itself, and I know you haven't been MLA very long, have you had a chance to know whether there's any highlights going on in different parts of Agassiz in terms of construction, road construction, or is that have you had an opportunity to pursue that angle at all?
So I haven't had an opportunity to go out and meet the different communities just yet, although prior to being elected, I have met with many municipalities, school divisions over the course of time, but not sort of in this capacity as an MLA. What I was really wanting to do, once the election was over, of course you have to set up a constituency office, hire staff, and take care of some of that, those needs, and also spend time in Winnipeg learning the role, having been at that MLA school. So there was a lot going on in a short time, and then having set up for the session for 3 weeks, I kind of wanted to get that under my belt. So now that we've got session has braked here for the Christmas, and we'll go back in the spring. So my plan now is to go and meet the municipalities and meet the people in the communities, in this capacity as the MLA. So there's a lot to learn on that front, going out to the communities and advocating for what their needs are. There has been some big projects, more specifically to Neepawa, as we've talked about, Neepawa being sort of a hub and central to Agassiz. So of course you've got the hospital here. That would be the biggest project probably going on in the constituency right now. I'll continue to advocate for some of those other larger projects that once I hear about them or learn of them, or continue to advocate for some that have maybe already been earmarked, but I'm just not sure what the status is of those just yet. So
even though the House isn't in session, you live in Winnipeg during the week, even when the House isn't in session? Or?
Nope. So my home base is Neepawa, so I will spend my time out in Neepawa or the area, come back home, so to speak. But I do have a place in Winnipeg. So when session is on, I do stay in Winnipeg. That's one thing I did find was exactly how long the days are, or that they can be. Even in this short 3 weeks that I've been there, the days are full. You go to the office about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and you've got meetings, you've got preparations for those meetings or the daily agenda. And quite often there's events in the evening, whether they be in Winnipeg or elsewhere. So there's a lot to take in when you're in session. The days can be very long.
Yeah.
But I knew that going in, so I was prepared for that.
You were familiar with
I
that.
was familiar with that, yes.
What are the two government departments that you're a shadow cabinet in charge of?
The labor and immigration.
Labor and immigration.
Labor and immigration, yeah.
So you have to be up to speed on what's happening in those two departments across the province.
That's right.
In order to do your job.
That's right. So that's where another big learning curve comes in, is understanding some of the immigration procedures, policies, as well as the labor market and the labor needs as well. So that's another steep learning curve. And so during break I will have to take some time and engage and embrace in those, and as well as attend some of those meetings that we've set up as well.
So that means that you'll be expected to travel across different parts of the province in order to develop this learning curve also then?
That's right. Meetings outside of the constituency area. Yeah.
Outside our constituency,
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty full schedule to work with, and we're pleased that you have Sherry as your assistant. I think she'll be quite an addition to the staff, and to have her up front in your office here.
She is amazing. She knows the communities, she knows the people, she understands the needs. I'm so grateful that she's come on board and willing to go on this journey with me. So thank you, Sherry. And thank you to Eileen Clark, who was a fantastic role model, fantastic mentor, and she did amazing work in Agassiz constituency prior to my coming on board here. And she's done great work, and she will continue to advocate and be in the background for sure.
She will be there for you if you need her, that's for sure, yeah. Well, as we mentioned at the start, our time goes quickly. Do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers in order to close our program, Coffee Chat, here this morning?
Well, with the holiday season fast approaching, I want to wish everybody across the province and within Agassiz just a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and safe celebrations, and enjoy the time with family and loved ones. Thank you.
Well,
thank you, Lyle.
Thank you for joining us today, Jodie, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and your family, and we hope that you have a very good holiday season.
Thank you, Lyle. My pleasure.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Well, that concludes our Coffee Chat today. My name is Lyle Watson, and to each and every one of our viewers, we do say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And until next time, stay healthy and stay happy.